Today is going to be one of the best days of your life. Good afternoon and welcome to the Candy Lynn Show. I'm your host, life analyst, and coach, Candy Lynn. Let's start off with the quotation of the day, and it comes from Bruce Lee. He says, "The possession of anything begins in the mind." That's a powerful quote, you guys, because if you can think it, if you can imagine it, you can do it. Now, today we're going to be dealing with the mind, and the topic is the detoxification of your mind, part one. This is actually going to be a three-part series, and today we're just going to touch the surface of it, and then on part two and three, we're going to go into the meat of the program. Now, many people are familiar with alcohol, drug, and diet detoxifications. Many detoxifications take weeks and even months to become successful at cleansing the body. I want to introduce a fourth type of detox, which is the detoxification of your mind. Now, the mind is constituted by conscious experience and intelligent thought. Many attributes of the mind include perception, reason, imagination, memory, emotion, attention, and a capacity for communication. Let's deal with toxins. Synonymously, when we deal with the terminology of toxins, we immediately begin to think about poison, bacteria, contamination, corruption, virus, and any form of malignancy. With that being said, all of those things are pretty much nasty. As human beings, we wouldn't deliberately digest any type of poison or toxin. So, why should we feed those harmful contaminants to our mind? Today, I want to give you the critical steps to a proper detoxification of your mind and thought process. Initially, you have to acknowledge and begin by creating an awareness of the things that actually plague our mind and our thought process. Let me ask you a question. What negative things plague your mind, and what negative things plague your thought process? Some minds, it's a broad horizon, so we have to be very careful of the things that we allow to permeate through our mind. And our mind and our thought process are the key components to our success and to our dreams. Learning to abstain and refrain from certain pollutants will assist us in building and even maintaining a strong mind and an even stronger will. I want to talk about two words briefly. I want to talk about the word positive versus optimistic. Now, I know the two terms basically they sound one and the same and correlate, but in actuality, they're actually different. Now, in my perspective, being positive and thinking positive is actually a gamble. It's wishful thinking, it's hopeful thinking. It's okay, if I do it, I do. If I don't, I don't. But being optimistic is actually a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle, and when you're optimistic, you can see the good in a good situation, and you can also see the good in a bad situation. So keep that in mind because we're going to revisit that later. Now, let's begin with step number one. Step number one, I like to call triple A: acknowledge, assess, and act. One downfall of human nature is our inabilities to admit our faults, flaws, and shortcomings. Just deal with it. None of us are perfect. So we begin with the first A, which is acknowledge. By admitting and realizing that we do sometimes have stinking thinking and a negative thought process, it's actually being true to ourselves. If you can't be true to yourselves, you can't be true to others. Instead of always putting others and yourself down, we should always be striving to motivate, encourage, and uplift. Now that we've acknowledged, let's continue with the next A, which is assess. Assessing and evaluating the problem of a toxic mind will assist with the third component. Now, during the assessment process, begin to identify your negative triggers and toxins. Now, we all know that anything that triggers something is basically like an ignition. It's what starts the effect of what's to come. The next A is act. Now that we've acknowledged and assessed, now it's time to develop a plan of action to keep our mind and our thought process pure. It's okay to acknowledge, it's okay to assess, but if we don't have an action plan, then it's pointless to proceed with trying to do the proper detoxification. Step number two. Step number two is abstaining and refraining. Now, this is going to be very critical during the detoxification process. It all begins with you. You are the catalyst for your success, and you are what this world needs. Some negative factors that contribute to toxins that permeate and saturate through our mind consist of the people that we associate ourselves with, the radio, television, novels, social utilities such as Facebook and Twitter, past experiences, and relying on testimonies of unreliable sources. Let's address our common associations. One thing for sure is that we can't choose our family, but thank goodness we can choose our friends. It is indeed true that bad company corrupts good character. If you're constantly surrounding yourself by negative people and friends, then you need to remove those people, from your circle and from your environment. They are toxic. If you were to make the statement that you want to start your own business and your friends or your associates, they begin to snicker and they just blatantly say, you don't have the money, you don't have the resources, or how are you going to do that? Those types of statements are poisonous, and those type of people are dream killers. Begin to surround yourself with optimistic people, optimistic friends and business partners and associates and family members that's actually going to help you get to the next level. Because those negative statements, they're gonna make you feel like I can't do it, I shouldn't do it because I don't have the support. So basically, each and every one of us have a spark of fire that's already on the inside of us. We just need a little gasoline to ignite that and to make us become the best person that we know how to be. Next, let's move on to radio, television, and social utilities. In today's society, television has impacted us in the most exponential way. According to the AC Nielsen Company statistics, the average American watches 4 hours of television each day. That's 28 hours each week. That's 1,456 hours per year. In a 65-year lifespan, that person would have spent 9 years glued to the tube. Now ask yourself, how much of this consumption of television was good and how much was detrimental to your mind? Let's talk about some of the debilitating effects that negative television may have on people. Television, radio, and social utilities, they're not bad. In fact, I think they're awesome. American and other countries has uniquely advanced because of these wonderful telecommunications. The type of effect, impact, and responsiveness determines the value that it has on that person's mental state of being. There are certain responses and emotions that stem from certain things that can indeed be detrimental to your mind. Again, let's reiterate the attributes of the mind, which are perception, reason, imagination, memory, emotion, attention, and a capacity for communication. Everything should be done in moderation. It all depends on the impact and the consequences that it would have on that person. Feed your mind good things, and you will release good things. Now, that concludes our first part of the detoxification of your mind. We still have to come part 2 and part 3. I would just like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to the Candy Lynn Show, where we're cultivating and empowering you to be your best. I would love to hear from you. You can write me at Candy Lynn Show, Post Office Box 20761, Greenville, North Carolina 27858, or email me, candylynshow@gmail.com, or give us a call, 252-469-6119. I love to hear from you. And as always, have a wonderful day, and I love you.